Listen, to deny regret is to deny your own growth. Anybody that tells you that they don't have any regrets in their life is lying. You're lying to yourself and you're lying to those around you. And no better way is this truth more apparent than in the mistakes we continually do every day, and we try to make ourselves believe that we don't regret it. One of the biggest examples of this is drinking, over drinking specifically. You go out, you want to have 1 or 2 drinks, you end up having 5 or 6 or more, and then you wake up the next day remembering or not remembering some of the stupid things you said and did. You feel like a dummy, you feel like a failure, you feel anxious, you're ashamed that you fell into the same mistake again. And guess what? That day is so far from productive, it's not even funny. It is a sentence to get through that day. That's regret that you feel. And to try to make yourself believe that it's something else is to rob yourself of the chance that you have to make a change, right? Regret, think about it. Why would we feel a crappy way about a decision if it wasn't meant to deter us from that decision? So don't try to make yourself believe that you don't feel a certain type of way about a mistake. That doesn't mean that that's who you are. That means that that's the outcome of that choice. And guess what? If you change the choice, you'll change the outcome. You'll change the way that you feel. But you have to also consistently do that. No matter how you feel, you have to remember what the outcome of the decision to overdrink brings you and make the decision to do something better instead before you make the mistake. That's how you're actually going to grow. But you have to accept the fact that there are some things that you've done or that you are doing that you regret. That's step 1. Be honest with yourself. A lot of us are too soft on ourselves and we make too many excuses in the church too. We excuse these decisions away and we call it grace, and there needs to be that, but the grace is the grace to change. It's to not tie that mistake in with your identity, but it's not an excuse to continue to make that same mistake over and over again. Nothing makes me more frustrated than seeing people fall into the same mistake over and over again. And don't think that I'm saying that I haven't done it, because I have. That's been part of my journey. That's part of the reason why I'm so passionate about this, because I've turned that around into decisions to consistently, repeatedly do the types of things that cause me to grow and pour into others, to make those choices consistently and to consistently try to shape my mindset around who God has called me to be as a man, as a leader, as a father, as a husband, right? To be self-sacrificial. That's the big term. That's the big concept that God is showing me, that it's not about this pleasure-seeking mindset. And that's a perfect example. Drinking is a perfect example of the pleasure-seeking mindset that a lot of us live in. We want to feel good for a moment, and we're willing to trade our purpose for a good feeling that we know is not going to last. We know we're going to regret it. We know it's not going to bring us closer to God, but we do it anyways. That sums up a lot of our Christian journey. And we got to do better, right? And so the first step to that should be to accept where we're falling short and to make the decision to consistently put something in place that we do every day to battle that mindset that we have to be pleasure seeking. So guess what? Consistently, we will make the choice to read the Word of God or to do a workout, better yet, to do both. And y'all know me, I do these things at the beginning of the day. I'm up at 4 a.m. every single day to do these things, to ensure, because I know me. I know who I can be if I make the other choices, if I start to slip and think that I can get away with it, right? You gotta be consistent and serious about your growth. And so remember the way that you feel when you make decisions that you regret. Before you do them, understand there's no way out of that consequence. You don't get to do the sin and not reap the benefit. There's a verse in Proverbs that I'm thinking of that it says, "Can a man heap burning coals into his lap and not be burned?" And that specifically is talking about adultery. That's a whole nother thing. And a lot of y'all out there are struggling with that too. So remember, you don't get to do the act without the regret that comes along with it. And so constantly make those adjustments, put something in place to make sure that you stay connected with God, so that way you have this path that you're on that you're not willing to give up for a few moments of pleasure. Because guess what? The purpose that you have, it's more fulfilling. Walking with God is the most fulfilling thing that you can do. Being a husband or a father or a leader, you don't have to have a family. You can be a single guy and have an outstanding purpose and be an incredible leader, right? But you got to walk it out or people aren't going to want to follow you. So don't do things you regret. God bless you.